Hello again, and welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade Chapters. Our second prologue chapter is about Harold Beaulieu. I'm sure I'm butchering that, of Clan Malkavian. Last time we played through the scenario of Aaron Conway, Clan Gangrel, where we got into a little bit of combat and got killed as a mortal, leading to her embrace. So let's see here. Harold's section is focused on investigation. So here's his character information. Harold is a psychologist whose passions include logic and the human mind. Growing up, he kept to himself and found solace in puzzles and neo-noir movies from the 40s. His life was mostly uneventful until his embrace. Chosen to become a son of Malkov, his sense of analysis makes him a great investigator. The embrace exacerbated his already troublesome anxiety, but bestowed upon him insight beyond the reach of humans. Whether through visions or his incredible deduction skills, Harold is extremely in tune with the environment and others' emotions. The kindred community in Montreal often look down on him, perceiving him as a fragile vampire one word away from becoming a mess. This is due in part to his Malkavian heritage, a clan many kindred still see as being mentally unstable. Unbeknownst to them, Harold's skills and vampiric powers give him an edge over the other members of the Camarilla. With little effort, he can discern the true motives behind the actions of a kindred, and he always stays one step ahead. Of course, no one knows about this, not even his sire, Lydia. In the Camarilla, it's always preferable to keep your cards to yourself and only use them when most effective. So, sit down Harold's sheet here. Harold has 2 physical, so we have 4 health, 2 social, and 3 mental, so we have 5 willpowers, as opposed to Aaron's 4. And he has skills kind of all across the board, but he's definitely not combat oriented. So we've got our investigation clue tokens here around the board. Let's see what it says. Tonight's heavy snowfall renders visibility almost null on the road. The radio blares the same op-ed about international events you've heard all week. Your relationship of 7 years with your wife Barbara is not going great. This evening, like so many other nights, you came home to a cold reception. Her silence spoke volumes about her mental state and her disposition towards you. It did not take long for an argument to break out. As usual, you preferred to go back to the office to give her space. Your office is your sanctuary, the only place in the city where you feel like you still have a handle on things, where you're in control. In this space, you feel wanted, needed even. As you drive through the snow, you begin to see the silhouette of your clinic stand tall and dark against the night. Only the light above the entrance door was left on. You park your vehicle on the side lot. Half a foot of snow is already accumulated. You wonder if you're going to be stuck here. You begin to think this might be a good thing. You walk up the steps and unlock the front door. As you walk down the corridor to your office, you feel like someone stepped on your grave. You open the door and let out a sigh of relief as your eyes gaze upon your familiar office. Wait, where's your mirror? And why are there mounds of paper left on your desk? Is this a break-in? Your first thought is to call the police, but what if it's just an accident with the cleaning lady? Figure it might be best to just take a look around before calling the cops. That way you can also give them information when they show up. In this chapter, you are playing a character who is still mortal, so you can't use your vampiric discipline. So much like Aaron, Harold is still mortal here. I wonder if all of the prologues have them when they're mortal. Our objective is to find out what happened in our office. Read event E1. This particular chapter book, unlike the one for Aaron, is a little bit thicker because this one has a dialogue, the investigation, as well as the events. So this one's actually, it's like over 65 pages. Event 1, time to investigate. Start investigating the room by placing your character on a hex adjacent to an investigation token of your choice. You can select any area in no particular order. To do so, open this booklet and read the page in the investigation section corresponding to the area you're located in. Once you're done searching through all the areas or following specific instruction to cease the investigation, read event 2. So, seeing as it's kind of the closest, let's just go for the first one over here. Investigation number 1. The sofa. Approaching the sofa, you hear a crunch and feel like you've stepped on something hard. Lifting your foot up, you notice a broken mirror shard embedded into the sole of your shoe. You take a few careful steps toward the sofa to find that not only did someone move your mirror off the wall, but also smash it to pieces on the sofa. Make a mental plus search check. 0 to 4 successes, read investigation 1, 5 plus successes, read investigation 2. So, mental and search, we have 3 in search, so we get to start with 3 successes. So we're practically guaranteed to at least get the first one, even though we only have 3 dice to roll. So, let's go ahead and see what we get here. We have got 6 successes. So, read IN2. The pieces on the sofa do not make up the entire mirror. Some of the shards are missing, the rest have been rearranged to make a smaller mirror. As you shift and look closer, you notice the blinds of your office were left open. The moonlights reflect down the shards. Judging by the distance and the angle of the light, this was deliberate. Romans used to believe that burying a broken mirror under the moonlight would cancel the bad luck of breaking it, a sort of do-over, if you will. Make the deduction that seems most right to you, then turn over the guess dedicated to said choice. So there are 3 guesses you can make here. Guess 1, whoever did this is sending you a clever hidden message about second chances. Guess 2, this was an accident. Someone knocked the mirror over and scrambled to pick up the pieces they could, the best they could. Or guess 3, a broken mirror reflects a broken visage. This is a threat. Given Harold's everything going on when I talked about between him and his wife and how he only feels like he's safe and wanted at work, I'm going to roll with guess 1. I feel like that's one that he'd go with. So whoever did this is sending you a clever hidden message about second chances. Read G1. It is true you have felt fractured lately. You opened up to a few of your colleagues, but would they really have gone through the trouble presenting you with such a strange message? A broken mind, a broken man, a broken marriage. As if the mirror knows you, reflects the real Harold back at you. Maybe tonight is your breaking point. Maybe your 7 years of bad luck are over and 7 new years are beginning. Remove the investigation area token from the tile. And take 2 investigation success tokens, which actually, give me 1 second here, because I am going to grab the top box here. And I'm going to sit it right over here. Just so I've got easy access to everything else. And the bottom box, which will just sit right there. There we go. Okay. So, investigation success tokens. We need 2 of these. Which ones are these? Okay, these are the check marks and the bonks. Okay. So we got 2 of these from event 1. All the investigation area tokens have been removed. Read event 2, otherwise resume playing. So, actually, geez, Harold's movement is slow. Because movement is athletics plus 1. He's got no athletics, so he would only get to move 1 at a time. But, okay, anyway. Let's move over to 2. Investigation 2. The desk. Your desk is a mess. Someone scattered your papers and supplies everywhere. Your picture frames have been toppled over, most of your expensive pens have been broken, the ink has been spilled across your files. We can either clean up the surface of the desk or rifle through the drawers. Let's clean up the surface, because I'm betting that the ink being spilled on the files has like a Rorschach test. So read IN1. You take a few minutes to replace the pictures and clean up the stained papers. You pick up the biggest frame, the one with the picture of Barbara and yourself on vacation in Cancun. You were happy back then, hopeful for a future family that can no longer happen. As you replace the frame on your desk, you notice the faint imprint of a deep red lipstick around your face. No one in the office wears lipstick that you know of. Could a patient have made this mess? You open your drawer to grab a tissue to wipe it off when... Take clue token 1. So clue token 1, read IN2. Someone messed with your paper files. You remember the memo about digitizing your files, and you know you've been behind on them. This is someone's idea of a reminder. There will be hell to pay. You open each folder and sort through the loose pages to put them back in the right order. Someone left notes all over your files. Some words have been circled and others added. Make a mental plus awareness check. 0 to 3 successes, read IN4. 4 plus successes, read IN4. Or 0 to 3, read IN3. 0 and 4 plus, read IN4. However, it says if you have clue token 1, which we just got, then you just read IN4. The circled words, the added comments in the margins, it feels like someone wanted to leave you a message. I'm guessing this gets discarded, but we'll set it right there in case. Someone wanted to leave you a message. Most of the manipulated files revolve around abuse victims, violent patients, and patients with dissociative disorders. Furthermore, the notes seem to indicate a pattern of judgment. The person who wrote these notes pretended to analyze those patients only via what information you left behind, like they were playing psychiatrist. Okay, make the deduction that seems right to you, then turn over the guess to dedicate to said choice. Guess 1. The notes are on patients with extreme tendencies. The person who did this felt drawn to these files because they resemble them. The notes are their musings. Guess 2. All these notes are on files that have been closed since. The person who did this wanted to point out your past failures, highlight your lack of experience. Guess 3. The content of the notes is a red herring. Anyone could have made guesses based on your observations. You should focus instead on the handwriting. Maybe that can be a clue. I feel like number 2, all these notes are on files that have been closed since. The person who did this wanted to point out your past failures, highlight your lack of experience. I feel like that one might be. It's 1 or 2, I feel like, but let's go with number 2. So G2. The intruder selected files that were both complex and closed on purpose. The patients whose files they messed with were clearly among your earliest. No wonder they've written condescending remarks about signs that you may have missed. The intruder could be one of your colleagues, though some delusional patient could also be at the root of this. Take 1 investigation success token. Remove investigation area 2 from the tile. So, we've got 3 of those. Not all of them have been removed, so we resume playing. So let's go over here to 3. Investigation 3, computer. Your computer is running, but the monitor was turned off. You do not recall leaving it on when you left. When the screen turns on, you're greeted by an unfamiliar desktop. Spread out across the screen is a multitude of audio and video files. No sign of your work in personal folders. You do not want to open them, but your curiosity gets the better of you. With one hand, you pick up the phone and dial 911. With the other, you hover over one of the icons. Before the operator answers, you find yourself clicking off file. It's a video of you and your wife in bed one night. The video was filmed up against your window. You panic and your thoughts begin to race. Is it blackmail? In this case, should you call the police? Maybe they'll know and they'll hurt your wife, whoever they are. Morbid curiosity takes hold of you and you hang up. Make a mental plus technology check. He has 1 technology. 0 to 3 successes, read IN1. 4 plus successes, read 2. So, we've got 3 dice. We've got 1 success to begin with. We've got 5 points of willpower we haven't spent yet either. Okay, well, we're going to spend 1 of those willpower to re-roll all of those. So that would get us 4, which is what we need for IN2. You open the audio files. They're recordings of your therapy sessions with your patients. Some of them were clearly recorded from within your office, others from outside. The recordings go back as far as 2 years ago, and they cover all your patients, except Lydia. It was easy to miss, but after a few minutes of scrutiny, you realize that everything you had on Lydia Moscato has been deleted. 3 more guesses. This is sabotage by one of your colleagues. Lydia is behind this and attempting to cover her tracks. Someone is trying to blackmail you. Well, the fact that I read the character portion already on him, so Erin's had stuff about her background that I kind of wanted, but now having looked at Harold's, we know that Lydia is his sire, so that kind of takes it out of that, because that definitely seems like it's her covering up a masquerade breach. So we're going to go with guess 2. Lydia's behind this and attempting to cover her tracks. Lydia Moscato's files are missing. Everything else has been moved to obfuscate that fact. Obfuscate. This is an attempt by your patient to interfere with your work. Take 2 investigation success tokens. Remove investigation area 3 from the tile. So we've got 5 of these tokens now. And take clue token number 2. So now we make our way over to our final one. Investigation 4. The shelf. The books on your shelf are not yours. You normally keep reference material on psychotherapy, behavioral therapy, and cognitive dissonance. Tonight, instead of your familiar books, you see the following. Treatise on spiritual apparitions and on vampires or revenants from Hungary, Moravia, etc. by Antoine Augustin Calmet. The House by the Churchyard by Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. Beyond the Gates of Dreams by Lynn Carter, Belmont Books edition. Plaidoyer pour Gilles de Rais by Jean-Pierre Bayard. Is there some clue to glean from these books? Make a mental plus awareness check. Again, we're looking for 0 to 3 for investigation 1, 4 plus for investigation 2. We have 2 awareness. So we get 2 successes. So that gets us 3. Let's spend another willpower since we got some to spare here. Okay, so that's 4. The books all have the same thing in common: vampires. Sheridan was the author of Carmilla. Calmet's treatise is on vampires, and even Gilles de Rais was at one point considered a vampire by his contemporaries. Books with links to vampires, but no sign of Dracula or Twilight. What message hides behind all this? Guess 1. The books form a riddle, one that would explain everything if you could solve it. 2. The books are a coded message placed there for your eyes only. 3. The books are an insight into the psyche of whoever left them. And, so the first guess is actually guess 3. The second guess is guess 4, and the last guess is guess 2. I'm going to say the books are a coded message. Or a riddle. Actually, I'm going to go with riddle. The books form a riddle, one that would explain everything if you can solve it. Read G3. Vampires in fiction are known to be expert manipulators, masters of subterfuge and the occult. The person behind this wants you to look beyond the obvious to open your mind to possibilities you think are hidden from you. Take 2 investigation success tokens. So that gives us a grand total of 7 investigation success tokens. They've all been removed. Read event L, read event E2. Event 2. There's a soft knock at the door. There in the door frame stands one of your oldest recurring patients, Lydia Moscato, all mysterious and charismatic. The behavior behooves her, but is not her regular self. What is going on tonight? Set your character and Lydia Moscato token on the designated hexes. So we go here, and let me find... So one thing I will say, there are a whole lot, like just let everybody see here. There's a whole lot of NPC tokens, like I think there's like over 170 of them in here. So even having them split into two separate sections like it does, still have a lot to look for. Lydia is apparently number 2. So in theory, she is somewhere in the bottom of this first stack, which is the first 70. I'm guessing number 3 is going to come up in the next adventure, so I'm just going to have him pulled up preemptively. Number 1, number 5, number 4. Number 2, Lydia. Okay, so Lydia... is going to go right there. Okay. Reading Lydia Moscato, dialogue D1. Lydia enters your office wearing a fur-trimmed coat. She leans against the frame of the door and takes a long look around your office. Good evening, Harold. Miss Moscato, you stammer. What are you doing here? We are closed. I came to see you, Harold. I needed to see you. Lydia keeps looking around your office, almost as if expecting someone else to be here. She's not supposed to be here. In fact, didn't you lock the front door behind you? Still, she might be in need of help, and as a therapist, you feel called to help. So we can attempt to send her back, which is a social plus intimidation check of difficulty 2, or try to understand what she wants, which is social plus insight difficulty 3. We've got 2 insight, we've got 2 dice to roll for social. So we'd have 2 of the 3 successes before we roll. Let's give it a go. We're going to try and understand what she wants. Okay, we got 4 successes. Success. Read Dialogue 4. Quick assessment. It could be that she's suffering from a psychotic episode. She's definitely not dressed to be outside in the winter. Her behavior is much more flirtatious than usual. To your shame, you recall wanting her at some point. You never acted upon these desires and certainly never let them show, except right in this moment, the way she's dressed, her dark lipstick, this is everything you find attractive, like she knew you. If you have clue token number 2, which we do, read D7. The culprit. It was her all along. You lunge for the phone to call the cops. As you grab the handset, Lydia takes a few quick strides into your office and rips the cord from the outlet. She must have seen your reaction, for she changes her behavior almost immediately. Sit down, Harold. Make yourself comfortable. Her voice shifts back to flirtatious. She languorously moves up to your desk and leans on it. You will not regret it. We can attempt to reason with her on Dialogue 9 or obey her in Dialogue 10. I feel like obeying her would also get her to be a bit more open to talk. So we're going to go with Dialogue 10. Submission is a good first step, Harold. I know how hard it must be for you. I know you would want me as the submissive one. She flashes a smile and winks. I know you, Harold. I know you've been unhappy lately, and I know you've always wanted to know more about me. She says this while playing with the neckline of her dress. She makes it hard for you to concentrate. I'm offering you that very chance tonight, Harold. Make a social plus insight check, difficulty 2. So, as it stands, we're going to succeed at this, which I'm guessing that was probably intended to be a higher difficulty since we start off with 2 successes. That's okay, we got 3. Read D11. Strong will. Lydia is amused by your attempts to regain control of the situation. She bats her eyes a few times before saying, You've got a strong will, Mr. Therapist. You remain quiet. I would not have expected anything less from you, she says. I did not come here for help, Harold. You came here for me. She isn't making any sense. You fear her situation is worsening the longer she remains without help. I can fix all your problems, and God knows you have many. Your wife, your finances, your frustrations. Okay. You believe you understand what's truly going on, in which case read Final Deduction on page 57, where we put everything together and try to work it out. Or we can attempt to turn the tables on her by reading D13. Let's try and turn the tables on her, because I think that'd be interesting. We'll see what happens. Lydia, are you saying you spent the last 7 years of your life attempting to control mine in the vague hope that I, at this very moment, would accept whatever proposition you have for me? Your tone changes from empathetic therapist to a darker, more threatening tone. You're seriously troubled, Miss Moscato. The world does not revolve around you or your needs. You would do well to heed my warning for you. Stop this nonsense and get help now. Lydia fakes surprise and immediately begins to grin. My, Harold, I was not mistaken after all. You will do just fine. You've just shown me you are exactly who I need. Take 1 investigation success token. All right, we got 1 more. You believe you understand what's truly going on. Read the Final Deduction on page 57. The Final Deduction puts an end to the investigation sequence. The investigation success tokens you possess will give you the possibility to choose the ultimate outcome of the investigation. A couple of the elements you've gathered so far can help you understand Lydia's true nature as well as the events that transpired here tonight. If you have 0 to 3 investigation tokens, read Final Deduction FD1. If you have 4 to 6 investigation success tokens, read Final Deduction FD2. If you have 7 plus, read Final Deduction FD3. So, we have 8. FD3. She wants you. Lydia's interest in you is motivated by a genuine desire to see you succeed, at least according to what she considers success. Our 2 possible guesses here are Lydia is part of an exclusive gang who's blackmailing you to get you to join them, or Lydia is part of a secret society who ruins their prospective members' lives in order to rebuild them as they see fit. That sounds more like the Camarilla. So we're going to read FD7 instead of FD6. Prodigy. Lydia is delighted. You're missing a few pieces of this puzzle, my dear, but the Camarilla has been good at making itself invisible. You will take to the clan like a fish to water, Harold, and I expect you will surpass even some of our more established kindred. Some of the terms she uses are unknown to you, but you get the feeling you'll discover their meaning soon enough. Gain 1 XP each, and take the Brilliant Mind effect card. So, oops. And then read the conclusion on the back of the narrative page. Let me find the Brilliant Mind card here. That is number 15. There are a lot of effect cards. 10, 12, 16, 15. Brilliant Mind. There's no great genius without some touch of madness. Aristotle. Plus 3 dice to your next mental test. Discard after use or at the end of the next chapter. So we've got that, which I think is not intended for. I mean, I guess it could be intended for use in the prologues, but plus 3 dice to your next wellness check or mental check. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna do something real quick to move things to make life a little bit easier on myself. Go. All right. And we get 1 XP for that, which I will mark down afterwards, because I'm willing to bet we're going to get another XP as well. So the conclusion. It's been almost 2 years now since Lydia embraced you. Yet you distinctly remember everything. Her sensual approach, the carnal way with which she latched onto your throat, the throes of pleasure that soon followed, and then death. Panic, blood filling your mouth and lungs as your mind descended into the abyss. For what felt like an infinite amount of time, you were plunged in a dark place between panic and insanity. Then your eyes opened, you awoke to a completely different world. You are now a Malkavian, the insane clan, as they're often called. In reality, Malkavian sees the world for what it really is. Lydia has also taught you how to feed yourself with blood and about the Camarilla clans. She's taught you everything about nocturnal society, especially in regard to the 6 traditions: masquerade, domain, progeny, responsibility, hospitality, and destruction. You've become just like her, a fervent supporter of these secular pillars meant to protect your kind for centuries. You're a member of the Camarilla to your core. Tonight a storm is raging. When you look through the window, you occasionally spot flashes of lightning. Thunder is detonating in the background. Almost feels like a foreshadowing of sorts, like violent change is coming. Your sire, Lydia, has left you not too long ago. Before departing, she informed you of an emergency in Lyceum meeting the prince is holding tomorrow night. Everyone has been asked to join. You assume it's regarding the strange disappearance of a group of artists close to Betty, Lydia's ally. Your eyes return to the window and you watch the rain droplets slowly trickle downward. You're almost hypnotized by the sight of them meeting and crashing into each other, only to become one. The sound of lightning snaps you out of your daydream. It's time to go hunt. You'll need to still your hunger before tomorrow night's meeting. Reward, gain 1 XP each. So we got 2 XP total. All right. So that was the second chapter, the second prologue, where we played Malkavian. Our next one for next time is going to be playing Samuel Armstrong of Clan Ventru, which will be focusing on the dialogue stuff, dialogue things. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you are still enjoying. We will be back next time with prologue number 3 for Samuel Armstrong. Have a good one. Bye-bye.